And well, Rahul Gandhi has put out a second pro-China and anti-forces tweet. Remember, this is the second tweet in the last 24 hours. Now, in this latest tweet, he is responding to a journalist and he has written that reads, and I quote, "The media is muzzled and terrified. The truth seems dormant, but it flows in the blood of every single Indian Army officer and soldier. They know exactly what is happening in Ladakh." Aishwarya Kapoor, our political editor, now joining us on the broadcast. Aishwarya, how do you decipher this tweet? Because from the face of it, it looks like Rahul Gandhi is not just once again demoralizing our forces, but is mocking India's border policy. And this is the second tweet that he's put out in the last 24 hours.
Well, it's a sarcastic tweet for first, but then again, he needs to understand, if he needs to play politics with the BJP, he has all the rights to do it. He is a political leader, and these kind of allegations on one another is okay. But then as soon as you involve the Indian Army, as soon as you involve the Indian soldiers, as soon as you involve our brave warriors, that's when, or rather that's where a line has to be drawn. He's trying to say that our soldiers, our army are aware of what is the ground situation. Yes, they are aware. They exactly know what's happening, because the kind of first mirror deployment, for the first time it has been done. If China escalated it, India has responded back. And what he's trying to do, he is also trying to comment about the media, saying the media is muzzled, the media is under pressure, media cannot report truth. That's false. At the end of the day, what is happening is, in trying, or rather in a desperate attempt of this political one-upmanship game, he's once again bringing the Indian army, the Indian soldiers who are basically battling it out. A tit-for-tat practice is on with the China for the first time in the history. That India is responding back to the Chinese in the same way that they understand, to the point that the Chinese rather had to come to the discussion board and say that yes, they are ready to sort it out. Not an inch of a land will be given. There were counters, 40 square kilometers, 60 square kilometers. Government of India has made it clear that not an inch of a land of India is going to be given. That's why, as soon as the Chinese increase their presence drastically in the Ladakh sector alongside LAC, that's the minute when India decided that a mirror deployment will be done. But this is something which the Congress party and then Rahul Gandhi himself has been completely denying, and saying that the Chinese have come into India. Chinese have 40 to 60 square kilometers of land of India. So all of this is not attributed. And now he's also bringing in the Indian army. He is basically bringing in our soldiers in it and saying that they are aware of the situation. So this kind of a sarcastic comment he can make on his political enemies. There is no doubt about it. Every political leader does it. But as soon as you involve the Indian army, as soon as you involve the Indian soldiers, that's where you draw the line. And then Rahul Gandhi has completely forgotten it. As you said, this is the second tweet in the last 24 hours. We thought that it's a mistake, but as we've been saying, he's a repeat offender of sorts when it comes down to involving army, and then forgetting that the political brownie points should not be made on the behest of the Indian army. And this is something which the opposition, and to be very clear, Rahul Gandhi needs to understand. So yes, at this point of time, this is the second tweet trying to say, or rather trying to demoralize the Indian army. This is something which should not have happened. Not Rahul Gandhi, not any leader, irrespective of their party, should forget the line. As soon as you involve the Indian army, politics ends. But the irony is that the politics is being done over Indian army, and that is something which completely should not have happened. And specifically right now, when we are in a tit-for-tat situation with China, we know the situation is unprecedented. The meeting which took place on the 6th of the Corps commanders was inconclusive. Today early morning, we've seen Defence Minister Rajnath Singh, CDS Bipin Rawat, the three chiefs meeting, having a review meeting of the situation which is prevailing in the Ladakh sector. So the situation is still very critical. And when you have a prime ministerial nominee from the Congress party, a person who wanted to be the Prime Minister of India at one point of time, though that may have been a dream, but the fact remains that the thought process of that leader is out in the open for the people to know that what exactly or how much respect is there for the Indian army in that particular party. Yes, back to you in the studios.
Very rightly said, Aishwarya. As a political leader, he has the right to disagree with the ruling dispensation and their policies, but it doesn't look or seem like it is just restricted to that, because being the grand old party of the country and a party that has ruled for the longest time in the country, the Congress must also clear its stand when it comes to issues of national security and whose side are they on, and that is very important.
Absolutely, and that's the point. You want to hit at BJP,
Aishwarya.
BJP wants to hit at Congress, Congress wants to hit at SP, BSP, you do all that. But as soon as you bring in the Indian Army, and he's mentioning, once again, initially he mentioned about the China border, then he mentioned about the Indian Army. Today he is mentioning that our soldiers are aware. Yes, our soldiers are aware. They are in the Ladakh sector, they are at the LAC. It's not Rahul Gandhi, it's not any political leader of any political party. It's our soldiers. So that's why when our Indian Army is involved, when our brave soldiers are involved, politics should end. But that's the irony, and as I said, politics is being done on our soldiers. China has acted as an aggressor, there is no doubt about it. The kind of escalation which has been done by the Chinese in the Ladakh sector, the kind of cross-border we have seen cross-border violations in sorts that their soldiers coming in onto the Indian sides, their chopper coming in around 15 kilometers onto the Himachal border. This is something which has happened in the last 40 to 45 days, and this is happening amid COVID-19, amid the unprecedented times of Corona. So Indian government understands that the situation is really sensitive, and amid this, if you have a leader to the likes of Rahul Gandhi coming and then raising questions on the Indian Army, coming and posing questions to the Indian soldiers that do you know where you stand? Yes, the Indian soldiers, yes, the Indian Army is aware where they stand. Not an inch of a land of India is going to be given to the Chinese, and that's a stated line of Government of India. Or if you want to say, then you need to come out with proof.
Absolutely. And through this tweet, Aishwarya, Rahul Gandhi is targeting the media,
pictures, with videos,
he's targeting the Indian Army. Then he goes on to say that the truth is dormant, but he hides behind those cryptic words, defending himself. On that note, Aishwarya, many thanks for joining us this evening.
He's being sarcastic, Swesha.